Much. So we wanted to take a couple minutes this morning to show you this vision for Cloud 2, the consumerization of the enterprise in the trusted and secure environment that is Salesforce.com. So let's go ahead and bring up the demonstration. And with Dan Darcy over here to my left, we've just brought up the Salesforce app. I know many of you in the room might not have seen the Salesforce app before, but what happens is you just go to Salesforce.com and you log in, and of course this can be integrated with your internal systems for a single sign-on. So as an employee comes into the company, that employee is provisioned an account. As that employee leaves the company, the employee is deprovisioned their account. And when they log in, what you can see is on the upper left-hand side of the browser, all of the apps that this user has access to, based upon who they are inside of the company. So whether that is our sales app, or our app for service and support for the call center, or even other apps that run your corporate functions for purchasing or product development, as you see up here on the screen. And then based upon the app that you select, the entire configuration of the system changes in real time. So if I'm a sales professional and I'm 4 levels down from the vice president of sales, you can see the hyperlinks across the top of the screen would change based upon the functions of the system that I have access to. So you can see up there at the top, as a sales rep, I might be able to track my customer accounts, my business contacts, just the deals that I'm working on, my opportunities. You can see things like analytics, for example, the dashboards. But these are just dashboards that are scoped down to my role, right? They're not global for the entire system, and this is core to Salesforce.com. But this vision for Cloud 2 and the consumerization of IT, you can see it right there in the middle of the screen. It starts to emerge with the user profile. Right? Why isn't all enterprise software like Facebook? But with Salesforce.com, it actually is, and it's intertwined with the business process and functions of the app. So if we click on the user profile, what you can see is the same contact information that you might see out on a Facebook screen, the same user experience, but it's all built for the enterprise. This is a business profile around the company where now you can Facebook-style collaborate inside of the application with everybody else inside of the organization. So at the top of the screen, you see the status update box. And our users are using this globally to ask questions, to seek advice, to connect with other people around the company, to break down the silos of their organization, to allow transparency across the teams, or even ask questions. Like here in the middle of the screen, you can see that our user Scott says, hey, I'm looking for a reference to try and close this deal. Can anybody help me out? And then everybody who's following that user across the company gets that in their feed in real time. So this is really kind of the new metaphor of collaboration and communication inside of the enterprise, just like you'd find out on the consumer web. So you can see right there that about 18 people are following me across the company, but I'm following about 107 other people. It's not just people across my company, but it's also additional things. So for example, the benefit of Salesforce and Chatter is it's integrated with the app. I can not just follow people around my company, but I can actually follow business processes. I can follow pieces of data across my company, like my top customers, or my big deals, or my critical support cases. And of course, this is core from a security standpoint as well, that I don't have access just to see anything across the company, any piece of data, just the things that are scoped down to my role. So let's take a look at the main Chatter feed, and you'll see this in action. As things change around the company, as people I'm following make updates or ask questions, as documents change that I'm following, as data changes, I see that in real time in my feed. So you can see here that a document changed for a product price list, right? If I'm on the operations team, maybe I can see that. You can see right below that that a critical support case has been escalated. And even below that an invoice is overdue. So based upon my user profile, my role inside of the company, I only have the rights to see these things in my feed. And if I don't have the rights, it's as if they didn't exist. You can filter these things down on the left-hand side of the screen. So if I just filter to customers, these are just my customers that I'm managing. I can't see the customers that might be in a different region. But again, if I'm the vice president of sales or the CEO, I can actually have global visibility. I can take a look at my top deals. And then, as you see, everything in the feed is a hyperlink. So it's treated just like the web, where you can just click through anything in the feed that you have access to and see the underlying data. And now, classically, this is what Salesforce has been great at, managing this business data. Whether here it's for a sales opportunity, all the data you see on the screen is configurable down to the field level. So for example, even if I'm part of the team that's working on this deal, I might not have the ability to edit the close date. Only the owner of this deal has the ability to change the close date of the opportunity. And even if somebody else can read that field, they might not have the ability to change it. So you see all the data here on the screen, but again, every single piece of data inside of the Salesforce system has its own collaboration, has its own chatter feed. The Facebook-style feed where people can share information, share documents, share business strategies, share meeting proposals. And when people are trying to work on a project inside of a company, like you see right here, they're trying to close a deal or run a marketing campaign or solve a customer issue, you can see it right here in the feed, and it's private and secure just for this team. You don't need to download any documents. You can just preview the documents in the feed. Nobody's wondering who's got the latest version of the document or did you CC the right person on the email. You don't have to worry about that inside of Salesforce. And everything you're seeing here in the browser, right, this lives in the world of the mobile internet, the world of Cloud 2. So if we bring up the iPad, what you can see here is that on our mobile browser, we actually have Salesforce. We have Chatter right here on the iPad. And of course, what you're going to see when this comes up is you're going to see the feed front and center. The feed is the new mechanism of collaboration inside of these apps. And of course, when you orient it in landscape mode, we've got more information. We've got the filters on the left-hand side of the screen. So we can just filter down on the chatter to me, the chatter with specific people on my team, the chatter for that deal, again, if I have the rights to see that information. We're learning from the best of the consumer web. So just like you would pinch open a set of photos on your iPad, how about just pinching open a business document, right? The ability to access this information quickly, work with your team effectively, and again, do it all from the mobile device that's in your pocket or it's in your briefcase. And as I was mentioning, there's a lot of privacy and security controls that are part of Salesforce that this new world inherits. So if we're looking for information to close our deal, we might want to ask a question to the competitive team. Well, maybe that's a private group, right? Maybe not all the people inside of the company have access to that. So if we just want to ask a question directed to the competitive intelligence team, we can do it right here from the iPad. And only the people that are working on that team, servicing those requests, actually can see that. Right? This is sensitive information that you wouldn't want every single person in the company having. And if we flip back over to the browser, you can see that that question that we just asked, maybe out on the road in our iPad, it's available in real time. It works like the entire internet works, which is it works in real time. And we asked a question to that group. And the great thing is within Chatter, within Salesforce, the employees of your company can form groups for anything they want. They don't need to ask IT. They can form a public group that's just available to the entire company, all the employees. Or what you just saw was a private group. So we might have a private group for mergers and acquisitions, or a private group for legal, or strategies, or even competitive intelligence. Let's go ahead and drill into that one. And what you can see is that question that we just posted out on the iPad, it's now been directed, and everybody who has secure access to the competitive intelligence private group can now begin to dogpile on that question. But again, it's not just in the browser, because our employees now globally, they're out on the road, and we live on these devices. We live in these devices today more than we live in the browsers. So finally, if we just go ahead and bring back up the visualizer, what we can see here is the iPhone. Salesforce and Chatter now running on the iPhone, but the different form factor, the smaller device screen. And you can see that same competitive intelligence group. But if somebody wants to answer this question from the road, the greatest thing is some of these mobile devices, they're actually better than their browser relatives because they've got GPS chips in the phone. We've got a camera on the phone. So what about when somebody's in a war room or a deal room saying, well, I'm competing against this company in the media vertical. Can you give me the best architecture? What are you guys using when you go on your sales calls? And somebody snaps a photo of the whiteboard and shares it inside of the Chatter feed. And again, it's available everywhere in real time. So it shows up in the browser. It shows up in the iPhone. But also, it shows up on the iPad. It shows up on the BlackBerry. It shows up on the Android device. These are all of the devices that Salesforce is supporting right now. The heterogeneous and open world of Cloud 2. And that's a quick demo of Salesforce and Salesforce Chatter. Back to Mark. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, and we're very delighted to be invited here this morning, and we are obviously very excited about Cloud 2. We really do see the world changing very dramatically. We've seen the world change so many times in really just a few decades, but we're moving in now into a completely new world. And when we look at these new devices, like Dan was demonstrating, like these mobile devices, like these new tablets, these are new security frontiers for us and for our customers. And we're being called on at a rate at never before to provide that level of consultation when Jim talks about our security lifecycle with our customers, I think we've probably gone through more security reviews than any other vendor that I have ever been associated with. It's amazing to me. But now, with the new mobile phenomenon, with the new world of nation-state attacks, with the increasing escalations that are happening on the network, I think that there's never been a more important time to be focused on security, and I think that's why this conference will be more important than ever. Thank you very much, and enjoy today's show.